done. So I started writing a business plan myself. And I was quite naive, but one of the things that Jack actually convinced us to believe in early on is you got to have a lab, you got to pay attention to quality. And so as we went through our thought process and writing a business plan and building the brewery, we were really focused on doing it right, at least on a very small scale, what we thought was right. And so we did learn some valuable lessons from Jack, and I'll talk later. I did hook back up with Jack. Unfortunately, his business could not survive. It was so small back in those days. There wasn't enough cash flow, and he struggled to raise money. It was at a time when it was pretty tough to raise money. If you were an investor and you looked at the brewing industry, you saw it declining at a pretty rapid rate. Before Prohibition, there were about 1,500 breweries that were operating in the U.S. After Prohibition, about half that amount, and I'd say it hit a low point right around when Jack was starting. We had about 40 breweries left in the U.S. That's total companies brewing beer in the U.S. And if you listen to the industry analysts, they were predicting that by the year 2000, I saw somebody's prediction way back, there'd be less than 2 or 3 breweries operating in the U.S. And they thought that the brewing industry was going to go sort of like milk, where it was very generic. People didn't necessarily want to specifically buy some brand over another. It was just a generic product. And that's the way the industry was really heading with the style of beers that were being brewed. Light lagers were really only one style that most breweries brewed in this country. Thankfully, things have changed. So here, Paul and I decided to write this business plan. This isn't Paul and I, but and started working on it. And we had a friend who was a professor's wife who helped us put together this business plan. And we thought we could build our brewery for $50,000. We'd actually already spent $22,000. That was my life savings. I sold my home for shop. And my partner put in the money that he had. And we thought we needed $50,000 more and we could do this. And so Jack had spent about $30,000. We thought we were much smarter and realized that what he had done at 1.5 barrels was really not a viable business. So we thought 10 barrels, that would get us through the next 20 years worth of growth. So we designed a 10-barrel brew house with an ultimate capacity of 3,000 barrels a year. And we do that every day right now. So our vision really wasn't that great. We really didn't realize what it would take to be successful. But that's where we started, and we wrote this plan and went out and tried to borrow money. And we could not borrow money from anyone other than family and friends. And we had trouble raising the $50,000. We eventually got it, and then spent all that and still didn't have a brewery, and then went back and tried to borrow more from family and friends. We did that about 5 times. It took us almost 1.5 years to go from starting construction and building equipment to finally getting our first batch of beer out. And I think I'll stop there, and then we'll continue on after this next course.